Have you ever wondered how a small island nation came to rule over a quarter of the world's land and people? Imagine just for a moment the magnitude of this feat. The British Isles, nestled in the North Atlantic, a mere speck on the world map, held sway over lands and cultures as far removed from each other as the icy wastes of Canada to the tropical rainforests of Malaysia. The British Empire, in its heyday, was a force unseen and unparalleled in history. It was an empire that stretched its tendrils across continents, seas, and peoples, binding them in a complex web of power, commerce, and influence. The sun, it was said, never set on the British Empire. But how did this come to be? What were the forces that propelled this tiny nation to such dizzying heights of power? Join us as we unravel the story of the British Empire, a power that once spanned across continents. Our journey begins in the late 15th century, when England was just a kingdom with a dream. A dream of exploration, expansion, and influence. The England of this era was a unified entity brought together under one monarchy after centuries of internal conflict and strife. The seeds of empire were sown in this period of unity and stability. The monarchy, understanding the potential benefits, began to sponsor voyages of exploration and discovery. Mariners set sail towards the unknown, driven by a desire to expand their knowledge of the world and a hunger for wealth and power. The late 15th century saw the beginning of England's first steps towards becoming an empire. Voyages led by explorers such as John Cabot, who discovered parts of North America, laid the groundwork for future English settlements in the New World. These expeditions were not without their hardships, but the promise of new lands and resources fueled the desire to explore and conquer. In the early 16th century, England made its first forays into the Caribbean. The establishment of English colonies in the Caribbean marked a significant milestone in England's journey towards empire. These colonies provided England with valuable resources such as sugar, tobacco, and cotton, which bolstered the kingdom's economy and increased its international standing. The establishment of these colonies also marked the beginning of England's involvement in the transatlantic slave trade, a dark chapter in the nation's history that had profound and lasting impacts on the world. These early voyages of exploration and settlement laid the foundation for the British Empire. They marked the beginning of a transformation, a metamorphosis of a kingdom into an empire. The dream of a small island nation began to take shape in the form of colonies, settlements, and trading posts scattered across the globe. This was only the beginning of a journey that would transform this kingdom into an empire. The 17th and 18th centuries marked a period of rapid expansion and colonization for the British Empire. This era was characterized by a race to discover and claim new lands, fueled by the promise of wealth, power, and prestige. The British Empire, with its advanced naval fleet and insatiable hunger for expansion, was at the forefront of this global competition. The British first set their sights on the Americas, establishing colonies in lands that would later become parts of the United States and Canada. These colonies provided the empire with valuable resources, including tobacco, sugar, and fur. Yet, the colonization process was far from peaceful. The indigenous populations were often displaced, their cultures disrupted, and their lands seized. Simultaneously, the British were making inroads in Asia. The colonization of India in particular played a pivotal role in the empire's expansion. The British East India Company, a trading firm with its own army, gradually took control of vast swathes of the Indian subcontinent. By the mid-18th century, the company effectively ruled India, exploiting its resources and reshaping its society to serve British interests. Africa, too, was a target of British colonization. The scramble for Africa in the late 19th century saw the British Empire claim territories stretching from Egypt in the north to South Africa in the south. The extraction of Africa's abundant resources, such as diamonds, gold, and ivory, further enriched the empire. Finally, let's not forget the British colonies in parts of Asia and the Pacific, including Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore. Each of these colonies contributed to the empire's wealth and global influence. The expansion and colonization of the 17th and 18th centuries transformed the British Empire into a global superpower. Its influence extended across continents, its flag fluttered in the winds of distant lands, its language and culture permeated societies far and wide. This was the era when the sun never set on the British Empire. At its peak, the British Empire was the largest empire in history, but every rise has a fall. This is a tale of an empire that once covered a quarter of the globe. The Victorian era from 1837 to 1901 marked the zenith of British power, a period when the sun never set on the empire. The British Empire during the reign of Queen Victoria reached its pinnacle of size and influence. From the vast plains of India to the wilds of Africa, from the frozen landscapes of Canada to the tropical islands of the Caribbean, her dominion stretched across time zones, climates and cultures. This was an empire where every sunrise was greeted by the Union Jack fluttering in the wind. However, this enormous expanse wasn't without its challenges. The larger the empire grew, the harder it became to control. Uprisings and rebellions became more frequent as local populations sought to assert their own identities and fight for their independence. The Boer War in South Africa, the Indian Rebellion of 1857, and the Irish quest for autonomy are just a few examples of the resistance faced by the empire. The 20th century saw the decline of the British Empire. The devastation of two world wars and the increasing demands for independence from colonies weakened the empire's hold. Following World War II, the process of decolonization began in earnest. India, the jewel in the empire's crown, gained independence in 1947, marking the beginning of the end for the British Empire. By the late 20th century, the empire had largely dissolved, leaving behind a collection of independent nations. Yet the British Empire's influence extended far beyond its former borders. English, the empire's language, is now spoken by over 1 billion people worldwide. The legal, political and cultural systems it established still shape many societies today. Even though the empire dissolved, its influence can still be felt around the world. Remember, this was an empire on which the sun never set, a testament to its vastness and power. The British Empire may be a thing of the past, but its legacy continues to shape the world we live in today. The empire, once a small island kingdom, rose to become an expansive entity, its influence stretching across the globe to lands far and wide. From the Americas to Asia, from Africa to Australia, the sun never set on the British Empire. The expansion and colonization of these territories weren't merely a matter of power acquisition. It was an ambitious project of culture dissemination, the spreading of British values, and the English language. Today, English is the lingua franca, the common tongue that connects millions around the world, a testament to the empire's far-reaching influence. At its zenith, the empire was an emblem of grandeur, a testament to human ambition and resilience. But like all great entities, it too had its moments of decline. The empire began to crumble, territories seeking independence, breaking away from the imperial grip. Yet even in its dissolution, the empire left behind a legacy that continues to resonate. The modern world is a patchwork quilt of the empire's influences, from the parliamentary democracies in many former colonies to the common law system, from the sports we play to the tea we drink. The fingerprints of the empire are everywhere. Some legacies are contentious, like the arbitrary borders drawn in the Middle East and Africa, leading to conflicts that persist to this day. Yet it is also the empire that laid the foundation for the multicultural societies we see in places like London, Toronto, and Sydney. It's the empire that sparked the exchange and fusion of cultures, cuisines, and ideas. And so we find that the echoes of an empire can still be heard long after its sun has set. The British Empire, for better or worse, has indelibly shaped the contours of our world, its legacy a testament to the enduring power of history and human endeavour.